If you're a pop culture junkie who loves TV, film, music, comedy, and other really important stuff, then you've come to the right place. Get ready and settle in for Classic Conversations, the best pop culture interviews in the world. That's right, we circled the globe so you don't have to. If you're ready to be the king of the water cooler, then you're ready for Classic Conversations with your host, Jeff Dwoskin.
All right, Marsha, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. You get the show going each and every week, and this week was no exception. Welcome, everybody, to episode 248 of Classic Conversations. As always, I am your host, Jeff Dwoskin. Great to have you back for what's sure to be a classic retro 1970s Saturday morning TV retrospective for the ages. Michael Gray is here. That's right, Billy Batson from TV's Shazam. For a second, I thought I was going to turn into Shazam. All right, I didn't. All right, carry on. Michael Gray is here to talk to us all about that classic television show, his iconic turn as Billy Batson, and a whole lot more, and that's coming up in just a few seconds. And in these few seconds, just a quick reminder, last week's interview with Gina Yashere, an amazing comedian from the UK, taking over the world, co-creator of Bob Hart's Abishola, story after story after story. Do not miss my conversation with Gina. Also, do not miss my conversation with TV's Michael Gray. Numerous cameos on Archer. We talked to Michael about not only Shazam, but his time on The Brian Keith Show, The Little People, and, of course, his starring role as Jeffrey, Marsha Brady's boyfriend on The Brady Bunch. We cover it all, and that's coming up right now. All right, I'm excited to introduce you to my next guest. You loved him on The Brady Bunch, The Brian Keith Show, Archer, the pages of Tiger Beat magazine, and of course, the star of the classic Shazam television series, Billy Batson himself, TV's Michael Gray. How are you?
Hello. I'm here.
You are here. Great to have you. Fun. Thanks for hanging with me.
And now what's really cool, I'm in Shazam Fear the Gods movie.
I know, that's what I was going to say. So
yeah, that's really cool.
It's a great cameo. It's fun. What was it like being on the set of the Shazam movie?
It was like the old days. It was just a classic crew. All the executives were great. The rest of the cast members are great. It was like the old days, back in the 70s. It was wonderful. I loved doing it. It was great.
And you got to call him Captain Marvel.
I did. Yeah. So you're the best Captain Marvel.
So take me to the scene. You're there. You're standing on the side. Zachary as Shazam is being attacked by a dragon ridden by Lucy Liu's character. What are you actually seeing while you're standing there?
I saw him fighting the dragon, which is really cool. And what they didn't show was I was applauding when he was fighting the dragon. Thumbs up, like all the people around too, because he was beating the dragon, which was good. That's when I actually looked up. I saw the dragon coming down and attacking him. And I said, holy moly, which TikTok put on social media, a video of me saying holy moly. But in the movie, all you heard me say was, you're the best Captain Marvel. And I told Zachary afterwards, I said, you are the best Captain Marvel. He liked it. Zachary is a very nice guy. He really is. He's very humble. He's very cool. I liked working with him. It was great.
He seemed like a nice guy. He's a great Shazam.
He did a good job. He is great.
So how did they get in contact with you? Did they try to get you for the first one and it just worked out for the second one? The folks that made the movie, obviously probably fans of the old TV show. Did they hunt you down?
Well, the fans wanted me to be in the first Shazam movie, but I wasn't invited. This one I was. And I met Zachary at Denver Pop Culture Con about 4 years ago. So I contacted Zachary and I said, Zachary, I'd love to be in Shazam Fear the Gods with you. Next thing I knew, my manager called me and said, Michael, you're in Shazam Fear the Gods. They want you to fly to Georgia, shoot your cameo.
That's amazing.
I don't know if it just happened because the production companies wanted me to, or if Zachary said something to them to bring me in. So I told him, I want to work with you. My fans want me to work with you. This is Shazam. It's my life.
It's awesome when the new movies pay tribute and honor where it all began. So it was great seeing you in that movie.
It was great doing it too, because after we finished shooting my scene with Zachary, we actually hugged each other, patting each other back, hanging out with each other for a long time, telling each other how great it was to be working together, doing a superhero movie. It's great. He's so humble. And I've been doing this for a long time, since the late 60s. And when you meet legends like that, a lot of them aren't humble. He was very, very humble and very cool. It's like Les Tremayne, who played Mentor. Same thing, he was a legend, but also very humble, which I like that. Meeting superstars like that, like Zachary, Les Tremayne, they're just very humble, kind, and considerate, which is very cool.
It's awesome. Did you get to hang out at all with Asher Angel, who was the new Billy Batson in the movie?
I met Asher, Denver Pop Culture Con. Zachary was there, Asher was there, and Cooper Andrews. They were all there. So I got to hang out with them during the Comic-Con. But when I did the movie, Asher wasn't there. He wasn't on the set that day. It was just Zachary.
Well, obviously, if Shazam's there, Billy Batson's not there.
Right. I was dressed as Billy Batson.
Right.
My character's name is Man on the Street, even though I was dressed as Billy Batson.
You had the shirt on. When
I did the movie, a lot of the executives on the set said, Michael, you still look like Billy Batson, even at your age. Just an older version. That was 47 years ago when I played Billy Batson.
You're still looking good. Yeah. Speaking of which, I had so many questions about like just those years and being like a Tiger Beat model. And what was it just like being Michael Gray at that point? You know, just like being swarmed by everywhere you go. I mean, you're on all these major magazines, you know, you're a teen idol. It's like, and you're on a TV show and you're doing all that. It's a lot. Like, what was it like being you at that time?
Well, it was interesting. When I was back then, I was doing auto shows, not Comic-Cons. And people reacted the same way, except at my apartment building. Sometimes I couldn't leave the building because there'd be a dozen people standing outside waiting to see me. For example, one day I was invited to a concert at the Forum. And when I was waiting to see the concert start, a lot of people come up to me and started attacking me, pulling my clothes, yanking on my hair. So security guards picked me up, threw me into a broom closet. So it was Donny Osmond and the family. That's when I went to see them at Forum. And my manager who owned Tiger Beat and Fave, took me there with the rest of the staff. But I couldn't see the concert because I was in the broom closet the whole time the concert was on. People were yanking on my hair, pulling up my clothes. So it was a little different back then.
It must be a weird feeling just that fandom felt that they kind of owned you a bit. You know what I mean? That you were like an object almost.
Yeah.
And that they could do that kind of stuff and not respect you as just Michael Gray, actor, person.
It was difficult going places back then, too. I went to supermarkets and things. People would see me, start coming up to me, asking for autographs, or, again, pulling on my hair. They wanted something to take home. Here's Michael Gray's hair, or a piece of my clothes. But the reason I ended up in Tiger Beat, in 1970, I did a movie. I had a cameo in a movie playing Burt Reynolds' brother called Run, Simon, Run. So I did the cameo. So many kids watching the show contacted Tiger Beat and said, who's Michael Gray? We just saw him playing Burt Reynolds' brother in this ABC movie that we call Run, Simon, Run. So Tiger Beat contacted my agent and said, would you send Michael Gray and we want to do an interview with him? So I went over to the Tiger Beat offices. They did an interview with me and a photo shoot, and they started running pictures of me. So the kids who were reading Tiger Beat and Fave back then liked the pictures, liked the interview. They kept contacting Tiger Beat, so the pictures got bigger, the interviews got more. Next thing you know, I ended up on the front cover. Then I did Tiger Beat and other magazines too. Even Bravo magazine in Germany started running pictures of me. The next thing you know, I was invited to do Little People TV series with Warner Brothers. And I was really on the cover of Tiger Beat and everything. So it was all Burt Reynolds' problem. That's why I got invited to do Tiger Beat, because playing Burt's brother was great. Talk about a humble guy, too. He was such a nice guy to work with. Just a cameo. Played his brother, a very short little scene. That was the start of being a teenage idol back then.
You're shot and killed, right? Isn't that like the whole...
Yes, I was. Yeah, exactly right. You're right. I was shot and killed, yes.
And then he avenges you.
I have a picture of Burt and I on my phone lying on the floor together. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Where was Burt Reynolds in his career at that point?
Well, he was already huge.
He was huge already? Okay. Okay.
Big time.
So that was good. So that was awesome. All right. So you get seen. Imagine like what the reaction would have been today with social media, right? So this is everyone calling in. Who's this hunky guy, Michael Gray? We need to see more of him. And this is all like letters and stuff probably, and maybe phone calls if they could figure out where to call. That's extremely impressive. And you could see how the system worked without social media.
And the cool thing about Burt Reynolds, too, he was dating Dinah Shore at one point. And Dinah invited me to be on her show twice to talk about my TV series Shazam. So the first time I was on her show, I went into the green room to hang out for a little bit, and Burt was sitting in the green room. That was after I did Little People. After I did Run, Simon, Run. So Burt jumped up, started hugging me in the green room, which is really cool.
He was happy to see you alive.
He was happy to see me alive. And the other cool thing about the first episode of Dinah Shore, the other guest was Jerry Lewis.
How was meeting Jerry Lewis?
It was amazing. I was a big fan of Jerry Lewis's. And when I found out he was going to be on the show too, I was thrilled. Got to work with Jerry for about an hour. I was amazed because I was a big fan of Jerry's when I was a kid. Talk about a legend.
Oh, wow.
Big time.
Yeah, that's incredible. Was it just an interview, or was this when you were on Dinah Shore? Did you sing, or was this?
I did. When I came out, I sang one of the songs. I recorded 3 or 4 records back in the late 60s, early 70s. I recorded 3 or 4 records, so I got to sing one of them on Dinah Shore. I did one on a show called The Pop Show, which was starring Davy Jones. So Davy and the producers invited me to come on the show also to sing one of my songs, which I did. That's when Davy and I became buddies. He was also a nice guy. And one day I was in my apartment building. I lived in West Hollywood in this big building called the Shoreham Towers. So I was downstairs getting my mail one day, and there was a lot of security down there. The building was huge, full of celebrities living in there. Like Joseph Patton lived in the building too, a lot of other celebrities too. So one day I was getting my mail, all of a sudden somebody jumped on my back, put their arms around me. I looked around, who was that? So I looked over my shoulder. It was David Jones. He was hanging on my back.
Oh, wow.
I'm 5'6", and Davey is shorter than me. So he was hanging on my back. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that is so hilarious. So wait, so is Pop the Davy Jones Variety Hour that Overnight Joe from Twitter was asking about, or is that a different show?
This was called Pop.
It was called Pop. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, all right, but so the singing, that was normal back then, right? Teen Idol, get you singing. I think I know from my research, right? When you moved into the Shazam show, that they didn't go in that direction. But do these songs exist anywhere? Do you have copies of them? Where can we get them?
I just have them on records, on actual vinyl records. I have them somewhere. They're in my closet. We never really released them. We just recorded them. My manager had me taking singing lessons and voice lessons, and the producers of the record actually did all of Bobby Sherman's records too.
That's awesome.
You know, we never got to release them because I was doing Little People TV series, and a lot of teen idols back then that were recording records did concerts. If you had a primetime TV series, which I did, then you did concerts too. But then after I wasn't on Little People after the first season, so we didn't release the records after that. We didn't do concerts. Well, I did Shazam Saturday morning TV, so again, I never did concerts.
Well, Michael, if those records are in your closet, you need to find them. We need to digitize them. We need to get them out to the world. I need to hear these songs. As I was just looking around the Tiger Beat stuff, back in the day, you could win Michael Gray for a day. I saw that. There was contests to have you come to your town. There was an article, Michael Gray, does he like girls with short hair?
Yes. Yeah, that came up with some interesting interviews. Does he like girls with short hair? Yes, exactly. Others said, meet Michael for a day or have lunch with him or something. Yeah.
And when you mentioned earlier that people would grab you and grab your hair, by the way, I mean, you had amazing hair. So I could see why people might be drawn to grab your hair. I mean, it was incredible hair. It was really... It reminded me of like my high school hair with no forehead, you know, it's like full head of hair, you know, but the magazines sort of seem to push that public agenda. Like, oh, yeah, here's Michael Gray. He's yours. Sorry to interrupt. Have to take a quick break. I want to thank everyone for their support of the sponsors. When you support the sponsors, you're supporting us here at Classic Conversations, and that's how we keep the lights on. And now back to my conversation with TV's Michael Gray, about to share another scary fan encounter with us. And we're back. Other than being shoved in that closet during the Osbournes concert, were there other times where you felt like, I got to get out of here? Like you're somewhere and it's like, just didn't feel safe?
Yeah, it happened in Las Vegas too. One day I was in a casino in Las Vegas way back in the early 70s, and some people saw me and started chasing me through the casino. So I ran through a door, get away from the people, because I wasn't sure what they were going to do to me. And next thing I knew, I ended up on a stage. I went to this door. I didn't know what was behind the door. It was also the Osbournes. They were singing on the stage. And here I was again. This time I had to run across the stage right in the middle of their concert. Went out the back door.
I'm no expert, Michael, but I would say stay away from Osbourne concerts. They don't seem to end well for you one way or another. That's fine. Oh, I saw that you got to meet Michael Jackson, though, and during a photo shoot for one of the magazines. That was cool.
I did, yeah. I got to meet Michael. He was very, very young. I got to meet Michael. We did cover of Tiger Beat magazine. He was very nice. I met him at the Tiger Beat office. They took pictures of us together.
That's awesome. And then just fun stuff like comparing measurements with Bobby Sherman. They do. It's a whole different world. These these articles.
I got to meet Bobby. I got to meet David Cassidy back then too. It was fun.
I remember I had a similar conversation when I was talking with Angela Cartwright because we were talking about the headlines that they would use for her.
Yeah.
It was, there needs to be a book just on all these crazy headlines and types of articles that they did. Someone needs to pull all these magazine articles together. That would make a great coffee table book, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you're Burt Reynolds, starring with Burt Reynolds. Did you know you always wanted to be an actor? You did plays early on, right? At the Pasadena Playhouse?
Pasadena Playhouse, yeah. I grew up in Miami Beach. I was born in Chicago. We moved to Miami Beach and I was like 4 years old because it was just too cold in Chicago. One day, I was probably about 13 or 14, maybe even younger, and I was playing volleyball in my junior high school's backyard, in a sport yard, and somebody walked up to me and said, "Would you be interested in being an actor?" Some woman asked me that, and I had no idea who she was. Turns out later on, I found out she was an agent living in Miami Beach because they were shooting a couple of TV shows back then in Miami Beach. So I said, I don't know. I never thought about it. And then she asked other people who were there too, do you know his parents' phone number, his parents' name? So my friends told her my parents' name and my parents' phone number. They contacted my parents, this woman and somebody else. Would your son like to be an actor? So my mom and dad asked me, would you like to be an actor? I said, I don't know. I never thought about it. Next thing I knew, the agent came over to the house one day. She got the address and she said, Michael, I want you to be an actor. You have a good look about you. You should be acting. So she told me to take community theater, Miami Beach. I did 2 plays that opened up the same day and I liked it a lot. So I did it. And then she told me to take drama classes in my junior high school. And then when I got to high school, she had drama classes too. So I asked the drama teachers back then and they said, you should study acting. 2 best schools in the country are the Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York or Pasadena Playhouse in California. So I auditioned for both and I got accepted to both. So I decided I want to do more motion pictures or TV show than theater because the one in New York, American Academy, is mostly for legitimate theater. So I picked Pasadena Playhouse. My parents flew me to Pasadena. I went there for 3 years. And the last year I was there, I did a play with Leon Ames and Lorene Tuttle. It was called Life with Father. I played one of their sons with Ben Murphy. He was also one of the other sons. So an agent saw it and came up to me afterwards and said, Michael, I like what you did in this play. Would you like to be an actor? Are you serious about it? You're a Pasadena Playhouse. Are you serious about becoming an actor? I said, yes. She said, okay, I want to sign you up with my agency. So I signed up with her. And every interview she got me on, I was very lucky. I got every single audition I went out for. I got the part. So that started my career at Pasadena Playhouse. One of my fellow actresses was Sally Struthers.
That's awesome.
So she became very successful too. And Keone Young also was one of my fellow actors at Pasadena Playhouse. He became very successful too. And Keone and I still communicate. We did a couple of Comic-Cons together. So it was like having a high school reunion with him. I saw him 52 years later after we left Pasadena Playhouse. I did Terrificon with him in Connecticut. It was great seeing him again. So it was a great college of theater arts, Pasadena Playhouse. That started my career for me.
I love that you maintain the bond. Oh, I did want to mention, I know you kind of briefly mentioned it for a second. In addition to Tiger Beat, you mentioned Bravo magazine. You passed over the part where you were named TV Star of the Year in 1974 and 1975. That's a German magazine. You're huge in Germany, just like David Hasselhoff.
Yes, exactly. Actually, The Little People was being shown all over the world. So it was being shown in Germany too. So Bravo magazine started running articles about me. Then they had a contest. All the readers voted on who your favorite actor is on TV. And they voted Michael Gray. So I won 2 Bravo awards, the TV Star of the Year. There's one of them right there.
That's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a Bravo Award, 1975. So I won 2 of these.
That's awesome.
I was lucky to win 2 of those. So Bravo started running stories about me a lot, more and more. Your favorite actor in the industry is Michael Gray. And then Shazam was running over there too in Germany. So more people liked it as well.
You're international. You're an international star. Wait, so The Little People, that was like your first series for Shazam that became the Brian Keith show. You were on the first season and then they kind of tooled the show, or that a fair way to say it? Or you weren't in the second season because they just kind of changed everything or redid it? Or
They did. There was a little political problem, which I don't really like talking about. But the first season, yes. Actually, IMDb said I did 6 episodes on the first season. Not true. I did 26 episodes. Because back then, in the 70s, when you had a TV series on, we did 26 episodes every year. Then they reran them one time, which is 52 weeks. It was an entire year. So I did 26 episodes. Then the second season, they wrote my character out. Wasn't in it any longer. And there was a political story about it, which I don't talk about. So they changed the name of the show to the Brian Keith Show the second season.
did you enjoy working with Brian Keith?
I did. I liked it the first year, yes. And Gary Marshall was also the original. He created the Little People TV series and produced it. Gary Marshall, talk about a legend. He did so many movies and TV shows. And the second season, Gary wasn't on the show either. He didn't produce the second season either.
So it was a complete kind of redo. It was filmed in Hawaii?
Yeah, we shot it in Hawaii and Oahu. And my mom and dad actually were so proud of me because I was in my career doing what I loved doing. My mom and dad started training me for my career when I was 14 or 15 years old. They booked me in a summer stock company that taught me the business. Then they helped me get to those 2 plays in Miami Beach I mentioned. Then they booked me at Pasadena Playhouse College of Theater Arts. And I worked for 4 years. I graduated in 1968, Pasadena Playhouse College of Theater Arts, and I worked in 1972. In 72, I got cast in the Little People TV series. So my mom and dad flew from Miami Beach to Hawaii to watch me shoot an episode. They were sitting on the set one day when I was shooting it. Their faces were glowing. They were so proud of me that I had a regular role in a primetime TV series.
That's a huge deal. That's something for parents to be very proud of.
And it was great working in Hawaii for a year, like working in tropical paradise. I loved it. It was fantastic. It was a great place to live for a year. I loved every minute of it.
So when you found out you didn't have that job anymore, were you more upset about losing the job or having to leave Hawaii?
Yeah. When I flew back to Los Angeles after the first season, and my manager said, "Michael, I want to have dinner with you tonight. I want to talk to you." So I met my manager for dinner, the guy that owned Tiger Beat and Fave. After I started working at Tiger Beat and Fave and all those pictures and interviews, he said, "I want to manage you." So I said, "Okay." So we met for dinner. Then he said, "Michael, I have some bad news for you." "What's that?" He said, "You're not in Little People anymore." I said, "Oh, okay." And then a little while later, he told me, "You just got invited to do Shazam. Would you like to do it? Saturday morning TV series." I said, "Of course I would." It was great.
See, one door shuts, another one opens. It was meant to be. If you had stayed on the other show, then it only lasted, I think, one more season anyway, right?
Yeah.
You would have lost you may not have had this role that became so important in your life. So
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Possible,
right.
I drove over to the production company that did Shazam. I drove over to their office one day, and I walked in to audition to talk to them, and they said, "Michael," and Les Tremayne was sitting there. "Oh my gosh, Les Tremayne." And they said, "Michael, would you like to play Billy Batson in Shazam?" I said, "Of course I would." I didn't even audition. They said, "Okay, you got the part, no problem." So the next week we started shooting our first episode. It was great. Working with Les Tremayne.
That's amazing.
And then I got to work with Jackson Bostwick for the first year. And then Jackson didn't do the show the second year. That's when I got to meet John Davey, who played Captain Marvel, second and third year of Shazam. Got to meet with John. So 1974, I worked with Jackson and Les. 1975 and 1976, I worked with John Davey and Les Tremayne. Les was great to work with. He had a great sense of humor. He was so funny. And talk about humble, a legend. Les was working back in the 30s. He was one of the top radio stars back in the 30s.
Right. He was a radio and a movie star, right? He was, so tell me more about Les. I want to hear about mentor. Was he a mentor to you outside of the show as well? And I think I've read you maintained a friendship after the show as well.
He was great. He had one of the best sense of humors of anybody I ever worked with. He was so funny. He would say things and do things on the set, and we were shooting, just cracked everybody up, the entire crew and myself. He was so funny. There was one scene, the first season, I said Shazam, and the first season when I said Shazam, there'd be smoke after I said it, and the smoke would clear, Captain Marvel would be standing behind it. So that day, I said Shazam, the smoke cleared, Les Tremayne was wearing Captain Marvel outfit. So when the smoke cleared, Les was standing there and said, "Hi, I'm Captain Marvel." I started laughing. The whole crew was cracking up too.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, one day we were shooting an episode, and we shot every summer. So one day it was about 115 degrees outside we were shooting. Shot in the summertime in a desert area, plus the outside lights that were lighting up inside the RV that Les and I were in it. The lights also were heating up the RV so hot It was about 125 degrees inside the RV because of the sun and the lights lighting us both up. So all of a sudden the windshield cracked open from the heat. So Les, our sound man, was lying on the floor between us with a microphone, recording us, doing our scenes. So when the windshield cracked, again, Les's sense of humor, Les saw the windshield cracked and looked at me and said, "What the F was that?" So I started laughing. I said, "Mr. Mentor, I don't know what the F that was." So I'm not saying the word. I said F. So all of a sudden I heard the director say, "Cut. It's a kid's show. You guys can't do that." So again, that was Les. He was so funny.
Oh, that is really, really funny. Do you talk to Jackson and or John to this day, or do you stay in touch with them, or more John? I don't know if Jackson had like a thing where...
I haven't seen Jackson in years. We did the Hollywood Collectors Show about 30 years ago. That was before the Hollywood Show. It's called the Hollywood Collectors Show in Burbank, California. And that's the last time I saw Jackson. He did a show as well. So I haven't seen him since. But John, Davey, and I have become best friends. So John and I do a lot of Comic-Cons together. So I see John all the time. Actually, I talked to him yesterday, communicating on the phone a lot. John is a very, very dear friend of mine. But Jackson I haven't seen or talked to in over 30 years.
That probably happens too, right? I mean, you can't stay in touch with everyone.
He was a good Captain Marvel. He really was. Yeah, again, John and I just became very good friends. 2 years of work together, now we're still good friends.
Does Jackson have any animosity or anything? Like, because depending on what you read, there was a lawsuit, and then he left, but they thought he was negotiating, and he says he was just hurt, and so there's like, I don't know, was that even something you were aware of at the time, or just one day John Davy's there? Well,
one day Jackson was doing a scene where he was supposed to jump and land, and when he landed, he got hurt. So the next day, he didn't show up because he supposedly was at a doctor's office. But there were different rumors why he didn't show up. Supposedly because he got hurt. But the production companies, the producers, thought there was another reason, so they let him go. So John Davy showed up on the set one day, and Les Tremayne and I looked up and saw John walk on the set. We didn't know. We didn't know that Jackson wasn't there any longer. That's when we met John. So that's when John and I became friends. So,
was there any reaction from like the kids watching and anything like that? Or did they just kind of accept that Captain Marvel looks a little different now, but everything's copacetic otherwise?
A lot of people were surprised because they didn't tell anybody there was a new Captain Marvel. So a lot of people were just surprised. What happened to Captain Marvel? It was a different person. So it was interesting.
Did you ever, I know you said Les did, but did you ever put on the Captain Marvel outfit?
No, I'm too small.
Too small.
Les was bigger.
That wouldn't stop me.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to fit in it. I could fit in one leg maybe.
Maybe the cape, anything?
Exactly. The cape would be huge because I'm only 5'6", and Jackson was tall, John's tall, and Les is tall. So I couldn't wear the Captain Marvel outfit.
Got it.
I still wear the Billy Batson shirt when I do Comic-Cons. When I did the Shazam for the Gods movie, I wore the Billy Batson shirt.
Right, and they wouldn't look as good in that shirt as you look in it. So I guess that's the trade-off. We're all dealt, the cards were dealt, right?
Yeah, that's what people like seeing me at Comic-Cons, wearing the Billy Batson shirt. They still think I look like Billy Batson. They love seeing it.
I love it. Well, speaking of Jackson Bostwick for a second, in the Archer show, the shows that you've done, that's one of the funniest lines is when Archer says to you, "I'd be happy if you could just turn into Jackson Bostwick." And then you slap him. Your character slaps him.
That's right.
And the other two characters turn to each other and go, "You're going to have to explain that to me later."
Yeah. I like doing Archer. It was a lot of fun. It really was. Interesting story, actually, too. One day, my son was watching an episode of Archer, and Archer was sitting out by the pool with, I think it was his mother, and he had memory problems. So he said to her, "Who was the guy that played Billy Batson in the Shazam series?" So she said, "Michael Gray." He said, "Oh, yeah, it was Michael Gray." So my son called me and said, "Michael, they just mentioned your name in Archer," which I didn't know because I didn't watch the episode. So I contacted Adam Reed, who created Archer, directed a lot of episodes, and produces it. I contacted Adam. I said, "Adam, thank you for doing that for me, for mentioning my name in the show." He said, "You're welcome." So we became sort of buddies, and I said, "I'd like to do an episode of Archer." He said, "I'd like to have you do an episode of Archer." So he cast me in 4 episodes. I love doing it. It was a lot of fun doing voiceover work, and great animators. They really were. The animators are so good. It almost looks like a live action show.
Oh, Archer's one of the best and funniest shows on TV.
It is. Yeah.
Your guest spots on it are hilarious. And Archer's just fascination and love for TV's Michael Gray is just the best. It's just,
exactly.
It's the best. So
Yeah.
was it Adam Reed from Archer that just loved this show as a kid and just, as these pop culture type people do when they're writing things, just wrote from things that he loved and just happened to work in Michael Gray, Billy Batson, Shazam?
Yeah.
Is that just how it happened? He just part of the fandom?
Said he liked watching Shazam when he was younger. Yeah. When he was a kid, he said he liked watching Shazam.
Because Shazam was, how do you say it? ABC after school special. There was that vibe, where you learned lessons. There were lessons every episode where you took away a moral. It was entertaining and also worked to help you be a better person, right? So that probably resonated with a lot of people. The fans come and talk to you about that at the Comic-Cons and
a lot. That's one of the more very interesting things about doing Comic-Cons. So many fans tell me and tell John Davey too, because we do Comic-Cons sitting right next to each other a lot. And a lot of fans tell us they love watching the show because it had great moral values. Every show had a great moral value, every one. So a lot of them tell us stories that were heartbreaking. Back in the 70s, a lot of them said I had horrible problems. I was picked on. I was beaten up. Some of them said my parents abused me. I was abused. I was beaten up in school. And one of my great relationships, great escapes from my life, was watching Shazam every Saturday morning because it had great moral values. I loved it. So it makes me feel very good when they said, well, thank you very much for doing this for me. Some people said it actually kept me alive. Yeah, some of them said I wanted to die. I was so abused and picked on, but Shazam kept me alive, which makes you feel really interesting and very good. People tell you that story. It's an amazing story. It's heartwarming. So thrilled because Shazam did it. I love having a bowl of cereal, watching Shazam every Saturday morning.
That's amazing. That must make you feel so good to sit there and hear those stories. Sorry to interrupt. Have to take a quick break. And we're back with Michael Gray, about to share some cool stories about his time with Adam West and Burt Ward. Oh, I was sort of digging around, just trying to find some, trivia and stuff. And one of the elders, uncredited, was Adam West, Batman.
Yes.
I love that. It was always funny because the way they would speak in riddles to you, the elders, when you would talk to the elders to get kind of the mission for the episode.
Yeah. I actually got to meet Adam back in the 70s. I was doing auto shows before there were Comic-Cons. I did auto shows every single weekend for month after month after month because Shazam was current. So many auto shows I got to do with Adam West and Burt Ward. They're both such nice guys. They really were. It was fun working with them.
Oh, that's cool. I've met Burt. I've had him on the show. He was a lot of fun to talk to. Absolutely. Were the car shows, when you did the car shows back then, was it a way for you to make extra money like they are now? Like now you make money on an autograph, you make money on a photo. I mean, taking a picture together. Now you can do a video and people charge for videos, all that kind of stuff. Were the car shows kind of the same thing? Or did they just pay you to be there and you engage with the fans? Was it a different kind of vibe than the Comic-Cons that I know of today?
Every car show, they paid you for being there. And then you had your picture sales too. So many fans were so happy to meet you. It was great, especially when I did one on Miami Beach, again with Burt Ward and Adam West, and John Travolta too. He was there as well. And it was very cool because so many fans had showed up. There were family members that I went to high school with, or junior high school with, or neighbors' families, and they were all so thrilled to meet me again, to see me again all these years later after I graduated from high school. So it was so much fun back then. And one day, Adam and I were doing a car show in a city down in the southeast, and we went through security to get back on the plane. So the security guards opened up Adam's bag. Not everybody went through security. Sometimes you did, sometimes you didn't. We went through Adam's bag, and they pulled out a bag full of cash from the picture sales. And they looked at him, and they said, why do you have a bag full of cash in here? Were you in the bank? Then they went through the suitcase again, and they pulled out his Batman mask. And they said, and there's a mask in here too. Were you in a bank? And Adam said, no, I'm Batman. And the guy said, oh, sure you are. And I said, he is Batman. That's Adam West. And the guy said, oh, I'm sorry. So Adam and I started laughing all the way back to California. We laughed the whole way back. They thought maybe he robbed a bank. It was so funny.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was very amazing.
Oh, I did want to mention I didn't want to not mention, because I think it's probably one of your most important roles. Being a Jeff myself, you played Jeff, on the Brady Bunch, Marsha's boyfriend, Jeff.
Yes. Yep.
So as a Jeff, seeing my name on on the TV is always important. Was it fun kind of guesting on the Brady Bunch, just being part of that?
It was a fun episode. I liked doing it. Yeah. And actually, they contacted my agent too. And they just said, I didn't audition. They just said, well, Michael Gray like to do an episode of the Brady Bunch. So my agent said, would you like to do an episode of Brady Bunch? I said, of course I would. I'd like to, because I liked the Brady Bunch. It was a lot of fun. So I went in, I did the episode. It was a lot of fun. And then when I was in the ice cream store, she sprayed me with whipped cream. It was very funny.
How many takes did that take?
A couple. Because she sprayed one time, got me all over the place, and got my date, too, which I shouldn't have been dating somebody else. I was supposedly dating her. That's why she got mad at me and sprayed whipped cream. So we both got covered with whipped cream. But Marie McCormick was very nice. She was such a nice lady to work with. She really was. I loved doing the episode. It was great.
In your defense, you were trying to get Marsha to go out with you, and she kept being too busy for you. So you were just trying to make her jealous with the other girl, and that triggered her. So
exactly right. Yes. Yep.
It all ends up at the end. I think you make up at the end over the phone. I think now that makes you my second person on the show who was one of Marsha's boyfriend. Nicholas Hammond was on. He was a big man on campus that episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll chalk that up. Did have a question for you on Shazam. Back to Shazam. Now, there was the episode Fool's Gold. You're panning for gold in the river, but did they not let you put on shorts? They couldn't. I thought it was funny because like you're wearing your shoes and your pants and you're in like the little stream panning for gold. I thought that was funny.
We had so many guest stars like Dabbs Greer on Fool's Gold. To work with a legend like Dabbs Greer was great. I got to meet him. It was great. He was so nice. And Les knew Dabbs too. Yeah,
he was great in that. You had a lot of cool. Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah.
Danny Bonaducci.
Danny did an episode.
Oh, and then Frank, is it Colin or Coughlin? The original Billy Batson.
Yeah.
And then JoAnna Cameron, Isis. Did you get to hang out with Isis?
Yeah. She was very nice. Sorry she's gone. She was very nice.
I think she was like that. Was she the first like female superhero? I mean, did that predate Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Are there any other guest stars that I'm missing that were super cool to work with?
Oh, there were so many of them. I'm trying to think right now who was besides Danny Bonaducci and Dabbs Greer.
How was Danny Bonaducci? Any stories about Danny Bonaducci or Jackie Earle Haley?
Danny was great. He was very nice. Danny had a radio show too later on.
Right. He had in Detroit. He was a DJ in Detroit, where I'm from.
Yeah.
A lot of other fun stuff you did. Oh, Bobby Joe and the Big Apple Good Time Band. You mentioned that to me over email. That was a pilot with Ed Begley Jr. Actually, a bunch of big names. What was that experience like?
That was fun. Even Forrest Tucker was in that too.
Oh, wow.
That's why I got to meet Ed. It was great working with Ed and Forrest Tucker. And there were a lot of good actors in that pilot. We loved doing it. It was great. Unfortunately, it didn't sell to a TV series, but it was fun shooting it.
And then I read, the Osbournes.
Yeah. My wife and I owned a flower shop for a while. And Ozzy and Sharon, they were our clients. We had the flower shop, and their office was right next door to ours, too, in West Hollywood. Then we moved into Beverly Hills, and they moved next door to us, too. They were so nice to us. They invited us. They had a wedding. They went to Vegas to do it. They invited us to go with them. So we got to go to their house a lot. Very, very nice people, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. Both very nice. And then I did a show on ATM, I think it was, but they wanted me to do an episode where I walked up to the Osbournes' door, knocked on the door, and got to meet them. So they asked Sharon and Ozzy if they would do it for me, and they said yes. So I knocked on the door. Ozzy opened the door and said, "Sharon, Shazam is here." So I walked in, I hugged Ozzy, I kissed Sharon on the cheek. Both such nice people, they really were. Loved working with them. They were just nice people.
That's awesome. So these days, I know you're doing there's a whole Surge of Power series that you're a part of, movies that you're doing, reoccurring on Archer, just in the new Shazam. What else is on your plate these days?
Just Shazam, Fear of the Gods. I might get other cameos. We'll see in other superhero movies, super TV shows. We'll see what happens.
Have you ever considered writing a book about your life and all
Actually,
that?
I am. I'm working on that right now, actually, yeah. People asked me a long time ago to write a book, so I've been working on it. I changed the title. It was called The Idol, because after I was a teenage idol, I became idle. Then I started working again, doing Archer and a few other things too, so I changed the name of it to Michael Gray Shazam. So I'm working on the book right now. It'll take me quite a while to finish writing it, but I'm working on it right now.
Oh, that's exciting. So after Shazam was, you mentioned, like you just said, based on the title of the first title of the book, going idle. Was it hard once you did something and it were known as so specifically this character to get other roles and continue down that path, acting?
Unfortunately, I was a little bit typecast after I did Shazam. I would go in auditions and people said, we can't cast you in these parts because you're too recognizable as Billy Batson from Shazam. So it was unfortunate that I couldn't get a lot of work after that until I got, I did Archer, 4 episodes, and I did an episode of Comic Book Men, which is fun too, because in Comic Book Men, I played Michael Gray dressed as Billy Batson, and the entire cast were all wearing Billy Batson shirts. So it was fun doing Comic Book Men. Flew to New Jersey to shoot it, and I didn't realize that the whole cast was all wearing Billy Batson shirts when I walked down the set.
That must have made you feel instantly welcome.
Exactly, yeah.
There's so many great stories. I appreciate you sharing them with me and spending this time with me.
I'm glad you asked me to do it, Jeff. I really am.
Oh, I'm honored that you said yes and that that we're hanging out. It's cool, it's not every day I get to hang out with a superhero, so.
Oh, it's cool. No, when my manager called me and told me and emailed me and said you want me to do the podcast, especially when I found out who else you worked with in the past, Ed Begley, Burt Ward, John Wesley Shipp. I did a few Comic-Cons with John Wesley Shipp. It was great. I did Comic-Con with Ed Begley too, Pasadena Comic-Con several months ago. And other people too I got to do Comic-Cons with too that you worked with. So I really was looking forward to doing this with you.
Oh, well, I'm so glad because I was equally looking forward to doing it with you. So I'm glad we were able to hang out. And you should come to one of the Motor City Comic-Cons one of these days. It would be awesome to meet you in person.
Maybe I will.
That would be amazing. Yep. That would be amazing. Cool.
Is that in Michigan?
Yeah, in Michigan. Yeah.
I did Grand Rapids Comic-Con about a year ago.
Oh, I missed it. It's a few hours like west, so that's not always on my radar. I'll keep my eyes open for the next one. Sorry, I missed that. Oh gosh,
it was fun. I like doing Grand Rapids. It was great.
It's a great city. Grand Rapids is a great city. It's a really cool place. I haven't been to the Comic-Con there. Usually I go to the Motor City Comic-Con, and then there's some other smaller ones in the area as well.
And maybe I'll get to do it, hopefully. Maybe my book age will book me in there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. It was fun doing this. It was a pleasure working with you.
All right. One more time for Michael Gray. How fun was that? The Shazam series, by the way, is available on Amazon Prime. You can buy per episode or per season. It's a great trip down memory lane. I definitely recommend that. Check out Michael's website. Follow him on the socials. You can hang out with him there. Shazam! Still nothing. All right. Well, with the interview over, it can only mean one thing. I know. We're at the end of another episode. Huge thanks to my special guest, Michael Gray. And of course, a big thanks to all of you for coming back week after week. It means the world to me. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Classic Conversations. If you like what you heard, don't be shy and give us a follow on your favorite podcast app. Also, why not go ahead and tell all your friends about the show? You strike us as the kind of person that people listen to. Thanks in advance for spreading the word, and we'll catch you next time on Classic Conversations.